Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rebecca Mosley, co-founder at laughingplace.com, and it's time for our live discussion of Star Wars headlines with laughingplace.com's creative director of Star Wars content, Mike Celestino. I keep changing your title every time. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I'm thinking I want to make it Supreme Chancellor of Star Wars content.
I like it. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. That's
talked to
gonna be your
Benji.
new title. It works. It works. Hey, we've got so much to talk about because we actually weren't able to get together last week with our scheduling. So we're just going to jump right in. And we're starting off with a new trailer for a video game. Is that what's happening here, Mike?
Yeah, so this game's called Star Wars Eclipse. There's not a whole lot of information about what it actually is, except that they've said that it takes place during the High Republic era, which is very interesting. They're putting a lot of eggs in that basket, which I think is cool that they're committing to this. So, you know, committingly. Well, I don't know. I'm just glad that there's more stuff coming out in the High Republic, but we also know it's an adventure game and that your choices will affect the outcome. But they always say that. I don't know how true that's going to be.
Pulling from some of the highlights that they've put over on the StarWars.com website, I particularly was really fascinated by these drummers. It's kind of how they're kind of the bookends of the trailer here. You have these rhythmic drumming happening in this what kind of a dark environment. I don't know. To me, in some ways, it kind of evoked imagery from the classic 1930s, King Kong, kind of the summoning of the beast, and then at the end of the trailer, out of this primordial ooze, for lack of a better word, emerges this figure. So I'm interested to see kind of what that will turn out to be. I myself am not a gamer, so I know I will be relying on the many others out there who will be sharing their adventures of the Eclipse. But man, when I see this, I know we're going to talk about Starcruiser later, but when I see how this imagery got me excited and engaged and everything, and just I compare it to kind of how I felt with the Galactic Starcruiser, I'm just so fascinated at how different and challenging it is to market Star Wars.
And this will be a lot cheaper probably
Right?
to play than to go to the Galactic Starcruiser.
so very true.
And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to finding out more. We really don't know. I don't think they've said who the villains are, who that guy
Correct.
is. Have they said that? No.
No, we just have this teaser. I'm not even 100% sure, villain or not villain, it's just,
Right.
he kind of,
They
we'll
do show
find out.
Yoda at one point, right?
I believe so.
In
I
the
believe you're
Jedi
right.
Council chamber.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I consumed so much Star Wars content this morning. I was worried I was blending.
I know the feeling.
Feelings. Hey, next up, Mike, we'll talk about one of the comics that you reviewed for Laughing Place, and that is Star Wars number 19.
Yeah, so this is the first issue of the main Star Wars comic to take place after the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event, and I'm actually really glad that they're now getting to do their own thing again. And this issue is about Luke kind of going off. He leaves the Rebel Alliance temporarily, kind of asks Leia for permission to go off and search for some of these Jedi temples that he found locations for. I guess R2-D2 found these locations of potential ancient Jedi temples in the Imperial Data Bank, and they go off to a bunch of these different planets looking for them and end up on the planet from the Star Wars Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith comic from a few years back, written by Charles Soule, who also wrote this comic, where Vader tracked down one of the Jedi who survived Order 66 and killed him and took his lightsaber. And now Luke is there, and he meets some of the people that Jedi knew. So this is pretty interesting. I really enjoy these kind of solo Luke adventures. We don't get a lot of those in these comics these days, so it's nice to see that.
No, it was a great read. I actually picked up this one as well. I enjoy the arc that they're putting him on, going from place to place to try and find these Jedi artifacts. I myself, as I was reading it, I was wondering if somehow they might find a way to connect him to Batu's Jedi history, because I know there are some people who wish that you had a more deep connection to Luke and that kind of era that we grew up with in Star Wars lore there on Batu. So you know,
We know
there
that
wasn't anything. Go ahead, sorry, Mike.
we know that Darth Vader has been to Batu, but yeah, I don't think we've seen Luke go to Batu yet. But there, there is that ancient Jedi temple there that was explored in the Tales from the Galaxy's Edge game. So yeah, I could see that happening. It's not on his little list, the Arabesh list that R2D2 has. But neither is Octo, which I thought was interesting because I feel like
I agree.
this search is going to eventually lead him to Octo. Whether that happens during this period, which is between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, or if he finds that planet after Return of the Jedi, I think we'll find that out eventually. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get there.
And then I found this panel that was actually highlighted in your article particularly intriguing as well, when he was on Lothal or Lothal. I always can't remember.
Lothal.
Thank you, Lothal. See, it was a third choice I didn't even have. But they have this moment where he talks about this connection he feels, but it's somehow buried, and he's not sure if he can unlock, or maybe it's locked. The way he talks about this, and knowing kind of that arc that we have to the world between worlds and the Ezra Bridger and all those things that we keep hearing be talked about as these mythologies are continued in the ever increasing live action. I don't know. It got me a little excited. So.
Yeah, well, this is another connection to Rebels, like you mentioned. If you watch that show, you can see Ezra and Kanan go into that temple that Luke's trying to get into there. But another interesting thing that is happening in this comic is that Luke's Jedi powers are kind of progressing. In fact, kind of from the beginning to the end of this comic, he learns how to do like the mind control, the Jedi mind trick kind of thing. So that's kind of his arc in this particular issue. He talks about how Yoda told him about it. He tries it near the beginning of this issue. He's not quite able to do it, but by the end, he has kind of learned it. So big steps are being taken in Luke's progression as a Jedi, kind of building up to where he is at the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
And there's more I want to say, but I'm like, how long? I mean, it's like, how long do you wait before you're too spoilery? So maybe next time when we talk about the next issue, we can touch on some of those moments that happened near the end of this one that I found interesting, and I wanted to discuss with you in regards to kind of how they affect the overall lore and mythology of Star Wars, because I found it in particularly intriguing. We'll move on then to Crimson Reign. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is kind of part 2 to War of the Bounty Hunters, where we found out that Kira, Han Solo's ex-girlfriend, is now in charge of Crimson Dawn, and they're still around in this period between Empire and Jedi. And this is the first issue of Crimson Reign, this new miniseries. And Kira is starting to kind of plant the seeds of this war between all the different underworld syndicates, the crime syndicates around the galaxy. So it's like the Hutts have already kind of been eliminated in War of the Bounty Hunters. So Darth Vader killed most of the Hutts on the Hutt Council. Jabba's really the only one left. And then now you've got the Pikes and what's the one from Shadows of the Empire? Black Sun.
Okay.
So she's like making all these different factions kind of fight against each other, basically so that they can eliminate each other and Crimson Dawn can rise to the top. Her ultimate goal, though, as we find out in this, is that she wants to eliminate the Sith because of her history with Darth Maul, and all the people that she enlists in this quest. The Knights of Ren, a few other assassins and stuff. They all have passed with the Sith and feel wronged by them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting so far. I'm looking forward to reading more of that.
Yeah, it looks very intriguing. She's a character that I know you and many others hope that we see much more of.
Yeah, I was actually like kind of wondering if maybe this is gonna tie into the Book of Boba Fett a little bit.
Mhm.
People have theorized that we may have seen some Crimson Dawn warriors or agents in the trailer, the guys that fight Boba Fett and Fennec Shand in that little settlement there.
Mhm.
I think it could be possible that we might see some Crimson Dawn, and I don't know, might be. I wonder if they're saving a big surprise, and maybe Kira shows up in this series. I don't know if that's something that will happen, but we've been surprised by other things recently.
I was just checking to be sure that we weren't having. I had some technical issues as we went on air, and so sorry for
Okay,
just checking right there. And
sure,
we're doing well. We're fine.
great.
Let's see. Continuing to talk about the live action world of Star Wars, we had some cast news pop up regarding the Acolyte. Amandla Stenberg is in talks to join this production, and Acolyte, that's part of the Sith aspect of Star Wars. Yes.
They haven't said that. All we know about this show is that it does take place during the High Republic era.
Okay.
We don't know to whom the acolyte is an acolyte or whatever. They
Gotcha.
haven't. I don't think we've learned anything really much about the plot,
Okay.
except that it's in the High Republic. When I saw her, I thought maybe she's being cast as Keeve Trennis, who is the main Jedi of the High Republic comic book. Kind of looks like her, but I guess it could be a totally different character. I don't know. When I've talked to the High Republic authors and I asked them about the TV show, they seemed like they didn't have much involvement with that, which makes me think it's a totally different character. But at
Okay.
the same time, the story group is involved with everything, so maybe they're working to tie everything together. I don't know. As the development goes on this show, I guess we'll hopefully find out more about that.
And the Acolyte, as you mentioned, is in that High Republic time period, but the final days of the High Republic. Our article reports that it will be about 50 years prior to the Phantom Menace is kind of the time
Oh,
frame and era that
okay.
we're
I didn't
looking at
remember hearing that.
for the Acolyte.
I
So,
I mean, they make such a big deal in the Phantom Menace about how the Sith have been extinct for a long time. So it would be surprising to me if this show were about the Sith in a way that makes them prominent or, available, accessible, knowledgeable to the other Jedi or whatever. I don't
mhm.
know. I'm curious about that, but we'll find out.
And this show is expected to begin production in mid 2022. And I'll be honest, as a Star Wars fan, I'm not as inclined to get super pumped about stuff until it's in production.
Yeah,
With the kind of the announce and then, well, wait, so this one for me is kind of way back burner, but we wanted to be sure that you knew about the variety report there.
right.
Uh, Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett, that's just around the corner. And as part of the Get Hyped, they brought Boba's throne over to downtown Disney. And our very own Mike Celestino got to take his rightful place on the throne. And initially, just as a typical Terran, but then he
So
opted for some appropriate
yeah,
wardrobe.
I found the Book of Boba Fett merchandise display in the Star Wars Trading Post, and I had to get the hoodie,
I like
and I
it.
had to wear it on the throne there. It's got the jetpack on the back. It's pretty neat.
So they have this set up over at downtown Disney. And no, okay, so here's my bone to pick with you, Mike Celestino.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that big of a bone to pick, but initially when we wrote this up, the report said Jabba the Hutt's throne.
Mhm.
And while I agree with you, it is not Jabba the Hutt's throne. First of all, in the Return of the Jedi, he didn't really appear to have a throne. It was just kind of like this enormous
Yeah,
dais, and
they
then in the
call it the
background,
dais. Yeah.
yeah. So no real throne. However, in your Slack message to the team, you called it Bib Fortuna's throne, and I'm not so sure on that one. So
Okay.
I guess for me, that's kind of, I feel like I want to wait and see what exactly were we meant to take away from that teaser
Okay.
scene we got at the end of Mandalorian.
Yeah, I will say that I see where you're coming from on that.
Because it says Boba Fett on it.
Yeah, the big I don't know if it says that on this one though, on the one that's
Mm,
there, because it looks
no,
like the
in here
letters are
now.
different. Um,
Okay.
but I don't know, that's not Arabic, it's a different language. I don't know all the Star Wars languages, this is too many. Um, but yeah, in the show, in The Mandalorian, in a different cipher, it does on the back of the throne just say Boba Fett over and over again, which some fans just thought it was like an Easter egg, and some fans have theorized that Boba Fett has sat on that throne previously. In one of the new ads that got released, there's a kind of a flashback shot of Boba Fett wearing the kind of the cloak that he was wearing in The Mandalorian, and he's like sneaking up on Jabba's palace and looking out over the palace and the doors that open up underground to the dungeons and stuff. So I think we're gonna get a lot more information about what happened to Boba Fett between Return of the Jedi and when we saw him in The Mandalorian. I'm guessing that that's gonna be a big part of the show.
Because I actually pulled up that footage today, and I'm pretty sure that when you see Jabba's palace from a distance in this current ad, that that opening at the bottom, which I'm guessing is meant to be an entrance to the Rancor pit,
I would
looks
guess that too.
looks accessible. Whereas at the end of Mandalorian, when we have that shot from afar, I think that it's not accessible anymore.
How do you mean that it's
Like
inaccessible?
it's been walled up in some way.
Oh.
Like it looked
Oh.
visual to me in just a cursory check this morning, because it was a crazy busy morning, and I'm sad because I wanted to grab those two to talk, because that's part of my being nitpicky about this. Is
Yeah, I mean, you have to wonder if after he escaped the Sarlacc pit, if Boba had some power struggle with Bib Fortuna in Jabba's palace that we didn't get to see yet and that we will get to see.
And well, and the ads, they all talk about him and his former employer, and all of the language, all of the wording that we keep hearing in these ads all seems to be referencing and balancing kind of Boba Fett versus Jabba. There doesn't seem to be much acknowledgement that we're hearing in all of this of any kind of respect or whatever given to Bib Fortuna within this syndicate environment that they're painting. So I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see kind of where that moment actually fits in the timeline, and how will all these pieces fit together.
Yeah, the other thing is if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure that all of if most of if not all of the footage we've seen so far is probably from the first episode of the show. Like
That's usually what they do, right?
I think they are playing it very close to the vest. I think they are not telling us what the show is really going to be, except for what we're going to see on the 29th in a couple weeks. So I think I love that they're keeping so much of it secret, because I like being surprised.
Yep. I'm enjoying the fun, but no, I just had to nitpick with you because I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
I will
I'm like, I
acknowledge
don't
that
know.
you may be
I
right
don't know.
about that. Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm not sure that we should totally abdicate it to Bib Fortuna to make
It was certainly his for a little while.
yeah.
It may not be his originally.
By the way, how creepy are those Java eye earrings off there on
Oh,
the
right.
side? They're just like staring at me.
Hey, that's a
Um,
good cross promotional
and then,
ad there.
yep,
Nicely done.
very smart. Also, we had some new footage come out with some additional ads for the upcoming series. Anything in particular jump out at you as you think on kind of where beyond that initial trailer where these ads have gone, or did we pretty much just touch on all that?
Yeah, I mean, there's that shot we just talked about, but also the one shot of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, like, peering down the grating into the
Oh,
Rancor pit
hmm
that made me think, "Oh, we're probably gonna see a Rancor of some." I mean, we know that Jabba has had multiple Rancors in the current canon, so wouldn't surprise me if there's a Rancor, either dead or alive in this show.
And that ship that we see rise up, it's Falcon-like, but it isn't the Falcon, is it? It has enough differentiation between it.
Um,
Just another
hmm,
saucer ship, right?
maybe I missed this ship. Which, ad was
Ooh.
that in?
Let me see is it if it's in this one or not. I'm scared to hit play because I'm worried, like, my computer's been
Oh,
so
yeah,
slow today. But, let me see. I'm not sure if I can pull that up today, Mike. Any other day I
okay,
could.
right.
Is it in this
It's
one?
okay, we can cover it another time.
Yeah, I'll make sure to have that ready to talk with you next time.
Okay.
Also, continuing with more Boba Fett over at her universe, they've come out with this tracksuit with it's got a jacket and slacks. So they continue to share more and more merchandise as we get closer to the release date of um, Boba Fett. I can't believe just about 2 weeks now.
Yep, 2 weeks and a day.
Let's see, Mike. I'm gonna head over to the Galactic Starcruiser.
Okay. And we kinda
And
talked about this on the Parks Talk yesterday.
yeah, it's been an interesting kind of public relations scenario, or I guess is the best way to put it. But with the holiday specials, they gave us a sneak peek of the Galactic Starcruiser, and they showcased a lounge singer. But then, as you can see in our article that included that clip, right, it says this video is now unavailable. So it wasn't terribly long after that footage was out there that the clips that were available via YouTube and other Disney social media channels disappeared. You can still see that footage in the special itself um, on Disney Plus and whatnot. But like I say, the clips themselves have been pulled, and then we got notice that numerous bookings within that opening month, that early time frame, have opened up. So you want to correlate the two, right? I mean, it seems that perhaps the marketing is not meeting expectations. People jumped at it. I mean, that would be the takeaway. If you have these bookings and then there begins to be more kind of information about it, and then you hear bookings are canceled, it seems like perhaps it isn't meeting the, because you were worried it was going to sell out. So you jump on it. But then as you learn more about it, it perhaps you're like, meh, maybe not.
Yeah, I think you're right that it is a tough thing to market, especially because it is such a new idea. It's really, really, really something that has never been done on this scale before. I've done a lot
Mhm.
of immersive theater in LA. It's all a couple hours maybe at the most, and this is, 2 almost 2 full days worth of stuff, just about 2 full days of immersive theater. You're
Yeah.
sleeping in there, but, I don't know if you have to sleep or if you can wander through the halls in the middle of the night and see what's going on, if there's anything, 3 AM happening in the bar or whatever, but, um, yeah, I think, the quandary is how do you sell this to people, but you also, like we were saying yesterday in the Parks Talk chat, it might be something that kinda relies on word of mouth. If people go and have a great experience, then that might be a better way to sell it than shooting some footage on the bridge and people go, "Well, that doesn't look like Star Wars," or whatever. It is really tricky, and I don't know of a good way. If they do media previews, maybe that would help, but then there's a lot of people who think, "Oh, well, the media got to go for free. I can't trust their reaction or
Mhm.
whatever. So somebody has to pay to go and experience it and give their honest opinion, and then I guess you got to wait months later to see what the genuine consensus is about this thing. And it's a tricky proposition to get people to pay that much money,
Yeah.
not knowing whether or not it's going to be worth that money.
And typically, you would get somebody to give you that kind of money for an established product. Like we buy a T-shirt that's plain, and we'll pay, let's say $10 for it. You put Luke Skywalker on it, and now you'll pay 30 for it, or a designer, a specific designer label on it. You pay more for it because that there's an established connection with it. And even though this is Star Wars, you're still not bringing anything directly connected. Is kind of strange to me in that way. It's not like when you go to Galaxy's Edge, you're on the Millennium Falcon. You see the Millennium Falcon. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that isn't, but that
Right.
moment is what so many people kind of anchor when they talk about going to Galaxy's Edge. So many people talk about the first time I saw the Falcon.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over seeing the Falcon in person and that kind of thing. And there doesn't seem to be that type of thing except for the lightsaber, right? And so when they brought out that lightsaber, wow, I mean, you can feel the energy was so high with that announcement. Now it seems that that's being talked about in ways of that's performative, right? That'll be used by the people around you, but that's not your experience. That's going to be their experience. You're going to have an experience, but not that one. And so it's been I found myself kind of excited and then guarded and then excited. And then it's been this very weird kind of dance that's been done with the Galactic Starcruiser. But I mentioned it yesterday in the comments because I couldn't be part of the show yesterday on Disney Parks Talk. But for me, I think it's like an escape room where if you show me a visual of an escape room, I'm going to be like, huh? You don't, necessarily put a dollar amount on that. But then when you're
Right.
in there with your friends and
Yeah.
you have these moments in time and you do this thing together and then you have these memories that you're getting, just keep revisiting, then you can really see the value in it.
Yeah.
And I feel they're somewhat challenged with this. So part of me was wondering if they shouldn't market it more on the ways that you market a video game. When they market us a video game, they market us that experience, right? The visuals most often say, this is not actual gameplay,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And I'm wondering if perhaps they need to have that style, but it's hard because then you're, well, I didn't see anything like, it's like, oh, so such a weird new product to try and truly market.
Yeah, I was thinking back to probably about 5 or 6 years ago. When I didn't have a lot of experience with immersive theater, and I would listen to Ricky Briganti's podcast, and he did a thing called Outside the Magic, which was like the Halloween stuff and like
Okay.
non-Disney type things that he was interested in, immersive theater being chief among them. But I remember there was an episode where he talked about this thing called Delusion, which is here in LA. And he started off the episode by saying, like, this is amazing. If it sounds like something that you would want to experience, and I highly recommend it, you should stop this episode now and just go buy tickets if you can get tickets and go do it. And I did that because I trusted Ricky, because having listened to him for so long, and it ended up being like one of my favorite things I've ever done. And we still do it every year whenever they do a new show or whatever. So I think it might end up taking something like that, like, or there has to be somebody out there that people trust who can go and experience this and give their honest opinion. And if it's a good impression that they walk away with, people will believe that. And if there's enough of that kind of thing, the demand will grow. But I think because of that, it might end up being a word of mouth thing, even though the first few months did sell out
Right.
right away. But now you're saying they might be getting some cancellations or whatever. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well, yeah, it's so ambitious. I still can't believe that in moving into immersive theater, Disney went kind of this all in.
Right.
It's incredibly fascinating. I truly thought that we would see kind of like evenings at Batu or things like that would be the way that Disney would initially embrace immersive theater and people's desire for that kind of interactive, self-created entertainment. But no, Disney, no, we're gonna do a 48-hour, put you in a box kind of scenario, and I'm extremely interested to see, can they pull it off, and is the market large enough to sustain it, and if it isn't, how does it adapt? It's so, as somebody who covers themed entertainment, I'm super, and somebody who abhors immersive theater. Personally, it's not my cup of tea. For me, this is very much an outsider, just a kind of a business fascination, as opposed to personally involved, because I'm very much well known among those who have been following Laughing Place for the past 20 years or so. Entertainment over there.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big 4D fan. It's like over there. So, but I'm glad they're jumping in, and I'm eager to see. But boy, it just, and then they put out this visual over at Entertainment Weekly, and it didn't seem to help much with the dialogue.
Suddenly everybody became a Star Wars expert, and they were like, well, this isn't an alien that we've seen before. And then I was immediately like, no, this is a Pantoran. We've seen Pantorans before. Watch Revenge of the Sith. The character that George Lucas plays in Revenge of the Sith, and his cameo is a Pantoran. There's been Pantorans in the Clone Wars cartoon. This is not a new species that they invented. It is a Star Wars species. I get what people are saying about the consoles and everything doesn't quite have the same lived in type. And they are putting a lot of emphasis on this. What do they call it? Like cockpit type of bridge battle. I don't know how much fun that's going to be, but it's just the kind of thing where you never know until you actually, if you can do it, or somebody you trust tells you whether or not it was worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I did not expect to enjoy Smuggler's Run, because once again, I prefer my entertainment to be over there. And the notion that somehow my behavior was going to impact the enjoyment level or experience of the other people.
It's a lot of pressure, yeah.
Yeah, in my pod, I was just like, this is not, but boy, I love that attraction. And whenever I go to Disney, I am there. In fact, since nobody else in my family is a big fan, I'm a single rider. I love being an engineer. I will fix your screen faster than anybody else. I can get those.
Engineer's the easiest one to get 100% on. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I extend our experience because I can repair all the damage you do because you don't know how to pilot. Well, we're doing fine. I'm gonna put this up here, I think, if my computer lets me. Ugh, my computer isn't letting me. I'm sorry. Yeah. The Epang 18. We're doing well.
Can I do it?
Hope you're doing okay. I don't know. Are you able to? Will it let you?
No, because I'm not logged in or anything. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just a guest.
My computer is being super slow. So let's see. We're gonna continue with. Oh, seriously? Are you still there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Well, Rebecca's gone. What was the next item on our list? Let's see.
I'm back.
Okay.
Am I back?
I see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you too, dude. That was fun. It was a nice little message that says, something's gone wrong. Please reload your browser.
That's always fun.
Oh, I was worried it had kicked us off air, but nope. Okay. Well, we're going to continue talking about Star Wars, and now we're moving over into the world of Bring Home the Bounty, which means we're going to be taking a look at a few merchandise items. And Mike, if I skip anything on your list, please don't hesitate to.
There was that thing, I think Kyle might have posted it about YogaQuest. I don't really know what that was, but.
Oh, okay. I do not have that, but I will. I can talk about it. It was over at C2E2. They were attending that event, and they had a Star Wars related yoga morning stretch for Star Wars fans. So kind of leaning into that narrative there to begin the day in a meditative way.
Okay.
But with our Bring Home the Bounty, we can highlight these pre-order items from Gentle Giant, Hera Bust, and Chopper.
I find these busts so odd because they're like half of their bodies. Like, why not just do the whole thing at that point? Like, especially with the droid, it looks very strange.
Hey, you only have so much room.
I guess so.
There you go. You can just have a little bit of them, but it's nice because then you can have the articulation on and lead the arms and stuff on the top.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I'll be honest, I'm with you too. I'm right there. And then from Razer, you have a limited edition Boba Fett controller. So it's got kind of that weathered look for your Xbox.
Tempting. It's tempting.
Right? That's good looking controller. From Star Wars, you've got a Book of Boba ornament. So, you know, you can continue the debate at home over whose throne is it actually. I am a big fan of the game Spot It. Have you ever played Spot It, Mike?
No, what's Spot It?
Okay. You have a selection of cards that you deal out, and you have to connect an item from one symbol to another one. And every card has at least one symbol that will match another card on it, and so you're competing against who can kind of be the most observational, you know, who can spot these similarities the same. So, because for example, looking at the cards in front of you that are on this particular Mandalorian box here, it's a little small. Here, I'll try and zoom in. There you go. So you see, there's R2 is on the card on the left, but he's not on the card on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And so things like, so there's always a matching pair. And so it's a competitive observation game.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have a wide variety of them, like based on cities. So like San Francisco, that's the one we have. I've seen them for generic stuff as well. And then also branded like Star Wars. Over at Cakeworthy, they have a variety of new Star Wars related prints that they're doing. They do a lot of the all over look. Here you have the classic trilogy with Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, R2-D2. So yeah, from the original. I think this is all images from Star Wars A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a jacket style there from Cakeworthy. They also will do the plaid flannel with a large quote on the back and embroidery on the front. In this case, it's Han's Never Tell Me the Odds on the front, and his co-pilot Chewie can be found embroidered on the front of the Cakeworthy plaid. So there you go. Yeah, nice way to, you know, add a layer to your winter wardrobe and a little bit of Star Wars along with it. And then over at Hasbro, Mike, you can talk a little bit, I'm sure, about these.
Yeah, these are the Black Series 6-inch Fennec Shand and Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. It's also how they looked in the back half of the second season of The Mandalorian after he gets his armor back and repaints the helmet and stuff. So I know people are bothered by what Hasbro did with the packaging of this. They put them in the deluxe package and they're selling them. Well, I guess, is Fennec Shand a regular or is she deluxe? I don't know. I did buy them, or I had my wife buy them because I was out. So I asked her if she wouldn't mind pre-ordering them. It looks like Boba Fett has the deluxe packaging and Fennec Shand is in the smaller box, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think there was some pushback by just on the price point, given the additional elements that are with this. And I think it was just feeding off of the frustration and disappointment with the canceled Rancor.
Yeah, R.I.P. I'm kind of bummed. I kind of wanted that thing to not have a place to go in my apartment because I certainly don't have room for it. But at the same time, how awesome would it have been? It's just very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't handle the campaign right, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it feels like there are just a lot of different missteps within that particular campaign.
Yeah. Hey,
Timing.
Rebecca,
Yeah.
I have a delivery I have to go
No, no,
get.
go ahead. Go
I'll be
ahead.
right back.
Okay, yeah, no worries. No, with the Rancor, I think that it kind of ran into a lot of different challenges. The offering itself is a pretty high price point, but then the additional, with these kinds of campaigns, they give you an additional figure with various levels of commitment, buy-in, and they weren't as unique as I think they have been with previous campaigns, like the beautiful skiff that you can see there behind that where Mike was sitting, that Jabba skiff. That was a previous HasLab project, and I think to some extent that may have played into it. Also, I'm inclined to think, I was just talking about your beautiful skiff, but I'm as inclined to think that perhaps the fact that the Razor Crest hasn't been unboxed, it hasn't arrived. People haven't kind of been
Yeah.
able to kind of remember how much they love it. Having that right now, they only have the money gone out of their account. They don't have the beautiful item to bask and to revel in, to remind them why they spent it before they spent yet another chunk of change on another thing they have to find place for. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
have
think
to
that's a good
wonder
comment.
what's gonna happen, with that Rancor, if they're gonna try it again or if it just like, all that it seems like a lot of work that got wasted on designing it and everything.
Well, perhaps with the Book of Boba Fett, as you were pointing out, maybe there'll be a different kind of inroad for it that will give a different um, elements that they can include, right, for a campaign. So maybe they'll be able to find a way to salvage that particular offering, but yet not come off like, I don't know, it'll
Yeah.
a different something different to make it seem like a different item in a way. Let's see, Mike. You've also had the opportunity to play with some new Legos.
Yeah, oh, I've got it right here, actually.
Oh, cool. Tell
The,
me.
this is the Imperial Armored Marauder. These guys shouldn't be standing on the top, but that's just how I put it. It's a nice little vehicle. It's from season 2 of The Mandalorian. The episode was called The Siege, when they're on the planet Navarro and they go and take out that Imperial base. Just a nice little ground vehicle. It comes with
Mhm.
Grief Karga and a few stormtroopers.
Very, very cool. And this is set.
Cockpit opens up.
There we go. Oh, sorry, Mike's playing with
It's
it,
okay.
and I took him off screen. There you go.
But you can go and I did a whole unboxing and build video and did a review of the whole thing on our YouTube channel.
And then you also were able to have some fun showing off Imperial Light Cruiser.
Yeah, that's this one. Quite a bit bigger.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's a nice big one. And then this one opens up like that. I tucked all the little figures in there. The cool thing of what's that?
No, I just giggled. It's fun.
Oh, there's Fennec Shand. I didn't have her before in Lego form. Cara Dune. Whoa, there she is.
Oh, cool.
Who else? We got Moff Gideon, who I didn't have.
Nice. Wow,
And
that's a nice collection of minifigs.
yeah, there's the Dark Trooper. That's really cool. But it only comes with one
Oh,
Dark Trooper. And I was like, well, there's
aw.
like a ton of them in the show. Where am I supposed to get the rest? And then of course you got Din Djarin
How am I
and
supposed to reenact the scene where they take Grogu?
yeah, speaking of which,
Just one.
little
Aw, he's so
Grogu.
little.
Yeah, but that's another another video on our Laughing Place YouTube. You can go and check out.
You can watch Speedy Hands Mike.
I enjoy doing those. It's kind of like an endurance challenge. The bigger the set is, it's like, can I possibly do this all in one day?
That's fun. Lots of fun. And then Mike got the call to review the. I'm so jealous.
Oh yeah. I think my R2D2 has died many, many times over
I'm
at
so
this
very jealous.
point. Look, I think he's dead or whatever's happening to him there.
Probably you probably killed him. You killed R2.
Yeah, he looks like he's fried. All of his parts are coming out of him and stuff. So I'm bad at this. I don't really get it. I have to admit, I was just the wrong generation for
It's
Tamagotchi.
it's like a digital take on the babysit a doll, so that you understand that you're a pet or a child is a responsibility that you have to constantly be aware of and pay attention to.
I guess so. I don't know. I have this thing. This has come up before where I have a problem with assigning sentience to computers or robots or anything. Like
What?
I can't embrace this as a real
Wait, Kate.
yeah.
So you're saying to me that in Rise of Skywalker, that moment when C3PO talks about seeing his friends, it doesn't hit you in an emotional way because there's no sentience there. There's no like, what I'm
Okay.
saying?
It's different in fiction
Oh,
because I can
okay.
accept that Data on the Starship Enterprise is sentient and has real feelings and real thoughts and deserves rights. But in the exact same situation, if they built a robot that was just like Data in real life, I would not. I would be on the side of like this is just an object. It's just a machine. We don't. He doesn't deserve rights.
Which
Like
which would be C3PO.
I guess
Because
so.
you saw him be built. You know who built him. You know everything about his origin story, theoretically. So that moment should not move you,
It
right?
no, it moves me in the story because I can accept in fiction that robots can
Okay.
think and have feelings,
Okay. So
but
you're
I
putting
can't do
yourself
that
in
in
the
the
position of Poe. In essence, I understand why Poe is moved emotionally, but
yeah.
I myself don't have any concern on his
No,
existence.
I care about the fictional character of C3PO, but in because this is in my real life and I'm supposed to like R2D2 needs to be petted or fed or you give him little energy pellets or something. I can't think about this as I have actual pets that I need to feed that I almost forget to feed them, like I
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
no, I don't know. I have this cognitive
That's funny.
dissonance about it.
So you don't get so do you have any of the smart devices around your house, Google's or Amazon devices that you chat with to find out things?
Just on my phone I have Siri,
Okay, so
but
you
I
have
don't
Siri.
yeah, I don't have like and no, I don't think of Siri as like Scarlett Johansson from Her.
Okay. But like if you ever have a trouble, you don't feel any kind of I like how Trumbot comes in and goes, "If I knew who built C3PO, I'd be seriously terrified." Yes,
Right.
as you should. But like when Siri says something that's like, "I'm unable to help you," or something you don't like have like a little bit of angst or, "Oh, I'm sorry, I asked you something so difficult."
I have caught myself saying thank you to Siri.
See?
I'm like, what am I doing?
I knew it was there somewhere. Like you cannot be as immersed in the world of sci-fi without developing some sort of relationship with electronic devices. Yay, I win. No, but as far as the R2D2 that it was the little digital pet there.
Tamagotchi, yeah.
Yeah, the Tamagotchi. Yeah, those were so much fun. I was so jealous of people who had them because I
I
was too
I
old. I was
I
too
played
old to
with it. Yeah, I was
have.
definitely too old when they first came out. I played with this for like an hour when I wrote my review, and then my wife Tori tried it for a while, but I doubt he'll ever be alive ever
Because
again.
theoretically, what happens if you do purchase one of these or purchase it for a younger Star Wars fan in your life? If you nurture it and you play with it, you do these things that are considered playing, and you do these things that are considered feeding it, then it will unlock other aspects of the character on that little screen. So if you pay enough attention at some point, maybe like Chewie will digitally come visit him and things like that. I can't remember the exact one, so it might not be Chewie specifically, but I do remember that various other characters from the Star Wars universe would appear in that very, very strange little square. So let's see. Trumbot remembers a friend brutally murdering his digital Tamagotchi because it woke him up. Yes, they do that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't want to be woken up by the Tamagotchi.
Okay, so instead
Oh,
you'll cuddle with
this thing though is sentient. No. This is the softest, fluffiest thing I've ever owned. It's just so squishy. I love it.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. I just love squishing it. I've been using it as a pillow on the couch.
I believe it. It looks amazing. Aw, so cute. So this is Cuutopia.
This is a Cuutopia Grogu from Mattel. They also make, I think, an Ewok.
Oh.
What else was there? A Jawa? No. A Chewbacca? I don't remember.
Are they, if I scroll down in
yeah, there's a pic in there.
Okay.
Of all the other Ewok, R2. Boba Fett, and R2, yeah.
R2. I'm such an R2 fan. R2.
He's just super squishy. That's all you need to know about him.
It's like poor Grogu. What are you doing to poor Grogu? And finally, once you're before you cuddle with that, maybe you need to be sure to wash up with these delightful soaps so that poor Grogu doesn't smells delightful instead of like person.
So I don't have these here, but I actually really like these. Yeah, I actually really like these soaps. They smell great, especially like when I first opened the box because the 4 soap smells like combined with each other, and I really liked that combined smell of all of them together.
Okay.
But even individually, they all smell really good, and somehow, strangely, they smell like you would imagine those characters smell like. I don't know why. Like, I never really thought about how these characters smell before.
Your description of them that way so fascinates me. It makes me want to buy them. So that was kind of the selling for me was, okay, now I need to know what Mike thinks Darth Maul smells like.
Well, I think actually they probably smell more like what I think their environment smells like. Like the Dagobah swamp or whatever is really probably what the soap smells like to me. Or like Darth Vader's like meditation chamber or whatever.
Which shouldn't seem appealing, but it does. I really am interested to know what the Dagobah swamp smells like. I think they should hire you to be their spokesperson. Please buy the Squatch soap. It's like it's like scrubbing yourself with the Dagobah swamp.
I honestly really, really like them a lot. They're a little pricey. It's like $38 for the set of 4.
Yeah.
But it's probably a great gift for the Star Wars fan in your life this holiday season.
And it is pretty typical within that kind of higher end fragrance bars scenario, Basin or those brands that you find within downtown Disney or Disney Springs, where you're kind of, they cut you off a little bit of soap. So pretty well keeping in that Cuutopia thing. He's so adorable with the little floppy ears. Apparently, you have now created the extended nasal universe. So be very proud. Let's see, Mike. Return of the Jedi is been added to the film registry.
Yeah, so this is that the Library of Congress that makes this decision? Yeah, I think so. And I think the other 2 of the original trilogy were already in there, and now Jedi has joined the ranks among some other Disney stuff that got announced today. WALL-E, The Flowers and the Trees short.
Yeah, those are the 3 among the 25 items that were added to the film registry this year. And as we prepare to wrap up, I want to remind everybody that Foodtastic is about to appear on Disney Plus. I believe it debuts tomorrow, the 15th. And it's going to be dropping like 11 episodes or something. And one of those is a Star Wars related episode. It's hosted by Kiki Palmer, and it's a food competition series, but themed within the world of Disney. And why am I sharing it? Because in my continuing discussion of Trapper Wolf's astromech droid.
Oh,
Look, this R2 unit appears in that episode of Fantastic. That one right there.
is that his?
I'm wondering.
Oh,
I think my speculation. I think that this little droid right here and the one that sits on the back of his X-wing is the R2 unit when not digitally enhanced. Because if they use a lot of blue screen, and if you use blue screen, then you can't have R2 be blue when he's on set. So his elements would be green, then replaced with blue, right?
that makes sense.
So that's my theory. My theory is that I was right, that if Dave was going to have an R2 unit on the astromech on the back of his X-wing, he was going to have R2, but he was sneaky and he used that one so to throw us off the scent.
I like that.
So there's my continuing saga of trying to find. Someday I will meet him, and I will ask him that ridiculous question of what astromech is on the back of your X-wing.
I'll make you a deal. If I meet him ever, I will also ask him that.
Yes, you can tell him that your casual Star Wars friend has an obsessive question. Star Wars casual with an obsessive question. And finally, Mike, you have a podcast called Who's the Bossk?
Yes, we are continuing our Lucasfilm 50th anniversary retrospective. It's almost done. Literally only 3 more episodes in this season after this one.
Did I pull up the right one?
Yeah.
Crystal Skull? Okay.
Yeah, so this most recent one was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I had Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland on as my guest. It was a really good discussion.
Oh, fantastic.
Lots to say about that film, both good and bad. And yeah, just two more movies to talk about, and then one season finale that I haven't said what it is yet.
Awesome. So if you haven't checked out Who's the Bossk, it is available on Laughing Place and wherever you grab your podcasts. So be sure and check that out for a discussion of all things Star Wars and currently a celebration of Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary. That is our collection of headlines this week here at Laughing Place from the world of Star Wars and Lucasfilm. Thanks so much as always, Mike. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I had a good time. Bye. We'll see you all real soon. I'll be back very soon with Barely Necessities, talking about all things Disney merchandise. So until then.